70809, Commanders. We are here this afternoon for Deep Space Exploration and Mining 105. We're going to take a quick trip over to Jacques Station now that the IPX Omega concern has arrived here in Colonia. We're going to purchase a basic mining vessel, outfit it with the equipment needed to do some laser mining for surface and subsurface deposits, to keep the carrier stocked with tritium for the long 18,700 light-year voyage ahead. We may also luck out and get some low-temperature diamonds while we're at it. They tend to hang out in tritium hotspots, which works out nice for your cash flow along the voyage. So we'll be underway here in just about 2 or 3 minutes. And like I said, we're going to head to Jacques Station and build that mining vessel. I haven't actually decided what ship to use yet. I do have a couple mining vessels already, but we're going to build a brand new one just so we can go through the process of building that out, making sure that we have all the required parts. So, underway in about another 2 minutes. Welcome aboard, everyone, and we will get the show on the road shortly. Those of us who joined on Sunday might remember filtering out for stars. Looks like I left my filters set up. Turn that all off. There we go. We'll plot directly to Jacques Station so we don't have to go through the carrier, millions of carriers in Colonia. The expedition carriers are actually not parked in Colonia for that reason. It's full. Can't get there. We should be 1, maybe 2 jumps away. Just 1. Alright. Well, let's get moving. Station here is just because it has a fully stocked shipyard and outfitter. That way we won't have to run back and forth all across the little mini bubble out here in Colonia. We'll be landing shortly. if anyone has a particular ship they'd like to see built into a miner, throw that in the comments. If it's not horrifically expensive, I may buy it. I have a cutter already and a T7 already. If you're interested in those builds, I can post those as well. I'm not going to build something as expensive as a cutter for this. Number one, because I can't afford it. That one cutter I have pretty much bankrupted me already. So. 7 seconds, 3/4 throttle. Coming for a nice leisurely approach to Colonia here. Looks like we're getting slowed by a gravity well. Speed back up. And one thing we'll note when we get in a little closer here, this is kind of cool for a Jacques station. Its orbit is so large that it actually moves pretty quickly, and you can see it as we get closer. It'll move around on us, so I can't just leave it like this and fly right at it. But that, okay, I was almost going too fast. Got Most Hated Melon wants Diamondback Explorer. I'm actually in one right now. I can definitely turn one of those into a mining vessel. It won't hold very much, but we can do it. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We are just now arriving at Jacques Station to build a mining vessel to cover the introduction to laser mining here. So, park it just in a moment. We've been cleared to land on pad 27. The very first time I came to Colonia, in fact, I was in this very Diamondback Explorer. It had no shields and a very upset passenger on board. He ejected himself into space because I scraped the mail slot on the way in. Took him all the way from the bubble out to Colonia, and he jettisoned right here. That was super fun. Alright, we are here. It was more of an arrival than a landing, but we're here. Let's go below deck and have a look and see what we've got. Find something to buy. The ideal mining vessel is going to have ample amount of cargo space, space for hard points, and enough optional internals to be useful. You're going to want, at a minimum, either 2 Class 1 mining lasers or 1 Class 2. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the hardpoint loadout for the ship that you're looking for. Anything less than that, and not only will you be bored to tears, but you'll never finish. The heat death of the universe will occur before you finish a single asteroid. So Sidewinder's not going to cut it. Eagle's not going to cut it. Adder's too small, I think. I mean, we could do it. It's got enough hard points. In fact, I almost want to, just because it's so cheap. I'd have to fly it shieldless to get any kind of cargo space at all, but it's got the hard points for it. Let's look at it. Let's look at what else we got. We got Viper. Viper would do it too. Still not quite enough cargo space. I think the Cobra here is probably the smallest one you can get away with and be any sort of useful, or have any sort of usefulness in terms of cargo capacity for a mining vessel. I have a Cobra already though, so I have a Dolphin already. Let's let's see, Asp Scout. This'll do it. I don't own an Asp. I don't need an Asp Explorer. It's a little much. And that's too much money. I'm not spending that much on a miner here. The Python here is a commonly selected mining vessel. This is a pretty good all-rounder. It's got plenty of cargo space right out the box here, and of course you can get it more in the outfitter, and it's got the enough hard points to outfit it properly. But I want to make this accessible to everybody, so we're gonna select something a little bit cheaper. I think it's between the Asp Scout and the Asp Explorer here. I'll give it a second for anyone with an opinion on which one to throw that out there in the chat. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to go with the. Well, let's see. This has got 38, and we got a 5e. Let's. Well, Dave Sunday says Scoot. I can do an Asp Scoot. And Most Hated Melon says Explorer. I was kind of leaning towards Explorer myself, just because it's got more here. It's not that much more expensive. So yeah, let's go ahead and grab this Asp Explorer and make a miner out of it. We'll purchase it. I'm gonna make sure I don't sell my DBX by accident, so I'm gonna store it here at Jock Station. Dave has agreed that the Explorer looks better, so I'm glad we're all on the same page. Everyone is happy with this Asp Explorer. Now, the expensive part of owning a ship is, of course, the outfitting. So we'll head over here to the outfitter. We'll get it ready for mining. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these pulse lasers. We don't need them. Got room for medium lasers, which is nice. Now the only thing, if I put 2 medium lasers on this, it's probably going to drain the weapons capacitor, and we may not be able to get a whole lot of mining done with that. Let's just see what we've got. Let's put the capacitor on there first. So we'll do a core internal. We'll switch over to we'll put a A-rated power plant on it. Doesn't have an A-rated. No A-rated for sale here. What do I want to do? Well, I'm not so worried about heat or weight here, so I'll get the 5C. And we'll put some decent thrusters on it. Again, no A-rated. There are carriers around here with outfitting. I could go and A-rate this, but we don't really need to do that for mining. I'm going to put a better frame shift drive on it. There should be an A-rated frame shift drive here, yes. We'll go ahead and max out the life support. Alright, let's see. See if we got an A-rated power distributor for sale. Oh, we do. Good. Excellent. That's good. That will help us. Alright, so this has a weapons capacity of 32 megawatts with a recharge of 3.5 megajoules a second. 3.5 megajoules a second. We'll bear that in mind in a second when we're looking at the mining lasers, see what they consume. So we'll go back to the hard points, knowing that if we have under 3.5 megajoules per second of consumption on our lasers, we won't drain the weapons capacitor. Now we can go slightly over. As long as we have pips in the weapons capacitor, it will drain slower. So let's have a quick look. Oh, not beam lasers, excuse me. We want mining lasers. Let's see. Well, they don't have Class 2 mining lasers for sale here, so that's kind of done the question for us. in that case, let's see, where are these hard points on the ship? We'll get ones towards the front. Yeah. We'll get some Class 1 mining lasers. The difference between turret and not turret is whether or not the laser can be used in multi-crew. If you're not going to multi-crew on your ship, or if your ship doesn't support multi-crew, there's absolutely no point in that. The cost is more or less the same. All of the stats are going to be the same between them, so it doesn't really matter. I'll go ahead and pick the turreted one, just because I have a multi-crew seat in the aspects here. And at some point we may want to do some wing mining. So we'll stick that one there, and then that one will have another one. Keep doing beam lasers. I want mining lasers. And I mentioned the distributor draw. You can see 1.5 megawatts is the distributor draw there, and the power draw is half a megawatt. So we should be able to stick several more of these on, which is going to be cool. Distributor draw, 1.5 megawatts. So that these two right now, if I have just these two, I won't ever exhaust the weapons capacitor, because we have a 3.5 joule per second charge, and this is only using 3. So if I stick another one on, we'll mine a little faster, but we'll discharge the weapons capacitor. It's going to be a personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I might as well fill up the hard points with the lasers and then turn them off if it doesn't work out, rather than not having them at all. Because I do know from experience that having only 2 mining lasers, you basically get 1% of the asteroid per second, which means it takes about 100 seconds to completely drain an asteroid, which does take a while. So what I'm going to do is stick a 3rd and 4th mining laser on. Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to do an abrasion blaster here. This abrasion blaster will knock surface deposits off an asteroid, which comes in handy. And we'll do, over here, we'll do a subsurface displacement missile. I believe there was a Class 2 for those. Yeah. It just has more ammo. And then we'll do another mining laser here. So we've got 3 mining lasers. This is going to discharge the weapons capacitor, but that's okay. We're only a little bit over it. We're at 4.5, and the charge is 3.5. So it'll drain slowly. We'll get a little bit more speed out of the mining with this. And the other 2 things that I bought, this abrasion blaster will smash surface deposits off an asteroid, and hopefully we'll find some of those, and I'll show you what that does. And this subsurface displacement missile will knock fragments out from inside the asteroid. I guess I will. I'll put a seismic charge launcher on here. These are for core mining. We're not going to do that today, but I have the hardpoint space, so why not? We'll just put that there. So we've got all our hardpoints kitted out, and I'll pull up that list one last time so that everyone can see it. The critical points that we need for mining tritium, which is what we're doing today, are these mining lasers here, which I have 3 of, and it's going to discharge our weapons capacitor a little bit. And again, just for reference, how we figure that out, we look at the core internal and go over to the power distributor. We can see the weapons recharge is 3.5 megajoules a second, and then if we look at the mining laser itself, it's drawing 1.5 megawatts. So just a little bit of math there. We know that this is a little bit over 3.5, but not by much. So we should be in good shape. Mining lasers are the critical bit that we need for this tritium mining. Abrasion blaster for the surface deposits, subsurface displacement missile for the deposits within the asteroid, and then I put this on here, which we're not going to use today, so I'm going to skip that. Okay, so that gets our hard points. I've done the core internals already. We'll look at the utility mounts. We don't have to really put anything on here. We could use a pulse wave analyzer for core mining. Since I put a core mining tool on, we'll use it, but I can't. We'll do a class E, because if otherwise I'm going to overdo the power. We'll stick a... Is this on the top of the ship here? That one's not. Yeah, that one looks like it's on the top of the ship. I'm going to put a point defense on the top. I always put a point defense on the top. Why do I do that? That's for Guardian sights. Not like we have any out here, but it can come in handy for shooting down Guardian missiles if you happen to be at one. I don't really need anything else here, so we'll stick a heat sink launcher there, just so that we've got one. We'll head on over to optional now, and here's what we need for a useful miner. We need cargo space to hold the stuff that we've mined, as well as the limpets to mine them. We need limpet controllers, at least one for collectors and at least one for prospectors. You can get away without using a prospector limpet, but the asteroid yields are less. So you really always want to have a prospector limpet on board. And we'll use the smallest one possible. You can have bigger ones, but it's not. We don't have enough modules to really do that. You need a refinery. The refinery is what converts the materials that you mine into actual. Takes the fragments and turns them into materials. So you need that. So I'm actually going to work my way up from the bottom here. I don't ever use Super Cruise Assist, as we covered in the other video, so I'm going to get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a prospecting limpet controller on right here in that spot that just got filled up, or freed up by that. The difference between the classes is how long or how far the module goes from your ship on the prospectors. So we'll go with a maximum range because we can. And this is only going to fire one prospector limpet at a time. If you shoot a second one off, the first one will die. Which, if you're new to mining, that gets confusing because what happens is as soon as you fire it, you hear your COVAS that says, prospected limpet failed, which isn't actually the case. It's the one that you previously had that failed because it died, and then the new one that you shot out goes on ahead without a problem. Limpet controllers come in sizes or classes 1, 3, 5, and 7. With a size 1, class 1, you get 1 limpet out at a time. 3, you get 2. Class 5, you get 3. And class 7, you get 4. Kind of get a little ripped off, in my opinion, there. But that's how the game works. So I'd be kind of wasting module space if I put a 1A collector limpet here. Because I have class 2 space. So what I'm going to do here, 2, I believe we have a class 2 refinery. Go with that. Yep. We'll stick a refinery in there. And the larger the class on the refinery, the more fragment types it can process all at once. Since we're really only after tritium here, I only need a small one, and I will show you the process of selecting what you want to pick up when you're mining. Otherwise, your limpets will pick up everything and clog up that refinery. So we'll add useless crap to the ignore list so that your limpets don't pick it up. Okay. So we've got, we'll put a bigger cargo rack in here. It came with a 5, but it can hold a 6. Will a size 3 shield generator be enough for an ASP? I don't know. It will. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the 5 shield generator. And in this slot here, I'm going to put a class 3. Dave Sunday has asked in the chat, can you run without a refinery and blast stuff for others to collect? Yes, you can. You absolutely can do that. that is definitely something you can do. You can also, if you're full, you can continue blasting, and other people will collect the fragments that you're extracting from the asteroids. And it's actually, if you've got a lot of collector limpets out and you're wing mining, your limpets will collect stuff that other people have mined, and their limpets will collect stuff that you've mined. And that's just kind of the way it goes. So when you mine and the fragments are flying out there, you don't own them until they've been picked up and stored in your ship. So whatever limpet gets to it first, that's the one that grabs it, whether it's yours or someone else's, even if you mined it. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, putting a shield on. You don't have to mine with a shield. I tend to do it so because if you crash into an asteroid, this shield will save you from bending the ship. Let's see if a bi-weave will be a little bit more power efficient. It will. I might have to engineer the power plant on this. I'm starting to run out. Okay. Let's see. Got my refiner. I think what I'm going to do here is put. Let's see what I'm going to. I'm a little worried about my power consumption. You can see with everything deployed, I'm consuming 15.53 megawatts with my max of 17. And when I start, when I start putting collection limpets on, we'll start with C. They're going to be up here. I think we're going to wind up running over. Oh, maybe not. Let's put a 3A on. So that gets us 2 collector limpets. And if I put another 3A on, that gets us 2 more. And we're still good in terms of power. I guess 4 is enough for this demonstration, because what I want to, I'll put another cargo rack in here. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot a fuel scoop. You probably do want to have a fuel scoop on your miner, especially on the expedition, just because the carriers may park somewhere that doesn't have tritium, so you'll have to do some jumping to get to it. So I wish this had a class 4 somewhere for a fuel scoop. I mean, I can stick a class 5 on there, although now I'm going to have a power problem. I guarantee it. Yep. They don't have a 5A anyway. They've got a 5B. Well, I guess the fuel scoop's never running at the same time as I'm mining, so that's not a problem that I'm going to run over. 490 per second versus 343. Kind of want to head that for cargo. I could put a tiny fuel scoop on over here. 60 a second. Boy, I'm going to do this just so they can maximize the cargo space on the ASP. This is probably not ideal. This fuel scoop is basically for emergency use only. I will never get stranded with this fuel scoop, but I'm never going to have a good time with it. It's going to take forever to scoop from a star. So that leaves that last class 5 compartment. I can stick a cargo rack in there. So now I've got an ASP with 96 tons of cargo space, which for a $6 million or 6 million credit ship is actually pretty good. I've got everything I need to do mining. I've got collector limpets, I've got a refinery, and I've got prospector limpets. Again, those are the critical things that you need for mining. Prospectors to find what asteroids have what materials in them. Refinery to collect the fragments that you mine from the asteroids and turn them into materials in your cargo hold. And the collector limpets to go out and get them. Remember before we leave that we are going to need to stock up on limpets. You can synthesize them, but you only get, I think, 4 at a time per synthesis, which is not so useful. And then a fuel scoop so we don't get stranded, cargo bays, and a shield generator so we don't kill ourselves by accident on the rocks. So that gets everything that we need in the optional internal. Let's have a quick look at the livery. I make all of my ships green. I think I have enough arcs for the basic green paint job. I could put the azure on it, I guess. I don't like that. The intense green, or whatever it's called, is usually 600 asks. 600 arcs. The Predator green's what I normally go with, but I've been spending arcs lately, and I don't have that much. I do like that, but I'm not going to spend real money on this show. I'm not going to encourage that kind of behavior. There should be a... There we go. Vibrant green. Not as eye-searing as the Predator, but it's green. That'll do. So we'll make our asp green, and then, of course, I already have the green weapon detailing and orange engine detailing to match. This is Counselor Troy here, Karina. She's going to be our Kovas. We'll stick some decals on. I always stick the Distant Worlds 2 decal on the front there. And we'll stick the Exploration Elite. Here we'll do... I know, Hudson. I know some stream viewers are probably going to hate me now, but I have the sticker, and that's currently the power play I'm doing because reasons. So please deal with it. Here we go, Elite. We'll stick that on that side. I don't have enough arcs for ship kits. I didn't actually come in this with a ship ID or name ready. So we'll call this, well, I can't put a nameplate on it if it doesn't have a name. So we'll call this the IPX ASPX. I make myself laugh sometimes. And I've never flown this particular tail number, but I heard it once on the radio, and I thought November 999 uniform was cool. So in lieu of anything else, we'll put that as there. So we'll do nameplate. We'll do Federation nameplate pack. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to rename this at some point eventually. I can't come up with names on the fly. I have to research them. And we'll do November 999 uniform. I may actually keep that tail number. I do like that. I don't like the name, the IPX ASPX, but it's enough for now. I don't want to bog everyone down with me decorating my ship. Last but not least, just to the right of the Dretus, I always put our little IPX Gold Star. Dave Sundays, IPX Green Chunk. Tell me what that is in Latin. I might do it. Okay. There's our IPX ASPX. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but I'm being ridiculous on purpose. We'll restock our point defense here. One thing everyone always forgets when they're going out mining is limpets. You have to have limpets. Well, you don't have to, but it kind of would be terrible to mine without them. So go ahead and buy the limpets. This does make your jump range smaller. But I'll go ahead and fill up the limpets.
Cargo hold at maximum
And then
capacity.
because we just built this ship, we're going to need to set up the fire groups. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot something, everybody. I forgot something. We got to go back to the outfitter. We got to go back to the outfitter, everyone. I made a mistake. We need a detailed surface scanner to scan the rings. Crud. Crud. I can't put that in the planetary approach slot. I can only put other approach. I don't like this. I was happy with this build, and now I'm probably gonna lose the fuel scoop, I'll be honest. Yeah. Everyone, what I'm about to do is absolutely something that you should not do. What I should do is I should put the Class 5 fuel scoop here, and then put the, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to do this badly. I'm not going to show you how to build a bad ship. So I am going to sell these limpets, because I'm going to decrease my cargo space by doing this. I'm going to go down to 64. I'd probably get in trouble with the fuel rats, because I am one, and if I showed you how to build a ship without a fuel scoop as a fuel rat, that'd be pretty poor. So we won't do that. So I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to lose some cargo space, but the bigger cargo space just means it takes longer to mine anyway. So since this is a video and you don't need to stare at me mining forever and ever and ever, I'm okay with that. We will. I'm going to store this. It's always nice to have extra cargo bays. And I'm going to take the fuel scoop. We're going to put a surface scanner in that spot. Look at that power. It's so close. And then we're going to put a fuel scoop in this slot. Now we might have a power problem. We do. Yeah. Alright. I'll do that so you can use this ship as a reference without having to engineer. So it's 16.99 megawatts consumed out of 17 available. You won't have to do any power management on this ship. And you can use it as is as a miner. And this cost, all said and done, probably about 12 million credits. You can use a smaller ship like a Diamondback Explorer. That will work. Basically, the smaller ships are just smaller cargo space. Just keep in mind your minimum loadout for a useful miner is 2 Class 1 mining lasers. If you don't have 2 Class 1 mining lasers or a single Class 2 mining laser, you're going to be at it for so long that you will die of old age. So don't do that. In the optional internal, our required components are the collector limpet controller. I have 2. More limpets is faster collection. And a prospector limpet controller to see what's inside the asteroids. And then a refinery to take the fragments, turn them into materials on the ship. A surface scanner, which is what I almost forgot, to scan the rings and find the hotspots. A fuel scoop, because always fly with a fuel scoop. A cargo rack to hold everything. And a shield generator to protect your ship from the eventual crash into an asteroid that will happen, or maybe a wing party member's ship. You'll note this ship has absolutely no offensive capabilities at all. So here in populated space, I may get hassled by a pirate, and I will discuss when we get to the asteroid some tips for minimizing the risk there. And then core internal, I just A-rated pretty much everything that was available to A-rate, that was available for sale anyway. Okay. Fire group reminder, there it was. I was wondering why that didn't pop up last time. We have to set up our ship, so I will do my standard loadout here. I'm going to turn that off. We'll do our A group, is going to be the Discovery Scanner on Fire Group 1, and the Detailed Surface on 2. And then we will do... How do I normally set this up? I have, let's see, I have Prospector limpets on... What do I put them on? 2 or 1? I put them on 2. I'm going to do collectors on 1 on that fire group, and then I do mining lasers 1. Shit, nope, I did it wrong. 2. I'll explain this in a second. I'm going from memory here. And then on the next one we'll do subsurface on group 1, and that one on 2. No, this one on... Dear Lord. That one on 2. I'm not going to equip the seismic charge launcher. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. I'm not going to equip the pulse wave analyzer easily. Dan0065 has asked, should you always max limpets no matter how big the cargo space? That depends. I've had differing experiences with that. in this ship, because I'm using class 1 lasers and I have a small number of limpets, I'm actually probably going to wind up maxing out the cargo bay pretty quickly, and then I'll have to jettison some of the limpets to make room for the materials I'm collecting. So in this particular ship, I actually probably am not set up ideal with filling up the cargo bay with limpets. In larger ships, if you've got a lot of limpets, for example, my cutter deploys 12 limpets all at once, those wind up, enough of them die or fail to the point where I never wind up filling up the cargo bay and having a crunch for space. So if you've got a smaller cargo bay, I would say less than 200 tons in total, you maybe go with 80% of the cargo bay full of limpets, just so you don't have to fight with the cargo bay being full. Now, one thing, in addition to the cargo bay, the refinery itself will hold additional materials, and I'll just quickly switch over to the inventory here and look at the refinery. So I have in my whatever class refinery I picked up, I have 6 slots there. So I basically get 6 extra free tons of cargo space, because, I'll demonstrate this as we're actually out mining. The materials will fill up kind of in a progress bar, a percentage across there. It's kind of hard to see right now because it's totally empty. But it'll fill up to 100%, and if your cargo bay is already full, it'll just sit there and nothing else will be collected. But it'll be full. So if I had 64 tons of tritium on board and then filled up these 6 slots in the refinery with 6 more 100% lines, I would actually have 70 tons of tritium on board. So I would sell the cargo bay, and then the refinery would process those remaining 6 bays into the cargo bay, and I would have 6 more tons in there. So you get a little bit of extra space in your refinery to use, but as far as having the number of limpets maxed out in your cargo bay, probably want to go with a little bit less in the ship. In fact, I'm gonna practice what I preach here, and I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna go down to let's do 58, because I can always synthesize more. If I need more, I can synth them. But that gives me a little headroom for deploying the limpets and bringing stuff on board. And that was a good question, Dan. Thank you for that. What was I doing? I was setting up the fire groups. Okay. I don't need the pulse wave analyzer here. I don't need the data link scanner here, but I will just I will set these on 2. Not going to use them, and then a heat sink launcher on 1. Okay, so this ship is now ready for mining, which is cool. And I'll kind of explain the way I've set this up, and it might be easier to visualize in the HUD rather than here, but I'm going to quickly run through this. I've got a Prospector limpet controller on Fire Group 1 here, so I can shoot a limpet at an asteroid, see what's in it, and then switch over here to this fire group, and you can see I've got the mining lasers out. They're all going to fire at once on the fire group or number 1. And then as the limpets expire, I can just hold down the trigger for the alternate here, and it will shoot out limpets to replace whatever has died or completed its task. So that is, we've built our mining ship. I'm pretty sure we're ready to go. I don't think I forgot anything else. So let's go mine. Let's go do it. I happen to know, unless it's moved, that the Omega Concern is parked in a spot where there is some tritium hotspots, so I'm going to locate it. There it is. We're going to just go right back to where we were. I don't know where the tritium hotspots are, so we'll do a quick refresher of the lesson from Sunday and scanning the system and scanning rings to find the tritium hotspots, and we'll go in there and we'll go do some mining, everyone. So there it is, the IPX ASPX. And the more I say that, knowing that it's a ridiculous name and I'm pronouncing it wrong, I know it's an Aspects, but if I say IPX ASPX, it's funny. It's funny to me, anyway. I'm starting to kind of like the name. But enough about how much I admire my own cleverness. Let's get out and go do some mining. Now, I didn't engineer anything on this ship, so this is going to be probably a bit sluggish, but that's okay. You haven't got any materials in this build, any engineering materials in this build is a suitable, useful mining ship. And it's got multi-crew, so you can have friends aboard. Yeah, the ship is not fast, that is for sure. Let's get out a mass lock here.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is, I believe the word the Wikipedia uses for the Anaconda is ponderous. This feels a little ponderous.
4, 3, 2, 1.
This system a honk. And since I put a fuel scoop on it, we might as well scoop some fuel.
Fuel scooping complete.
There we go. Now we'll fly away from the star so that it doesn't get in the way of our system scan. 13 bodies too. That won't take too long. Alright, that should do. I know I said 10C in the video the other day, but I have a feeling we're far enough away. There's an Earth-like here. Check that out. That's not the Earth-like, but there is an Earth-like here. Knowing that there's an Earth-like here, this might be a populated system. There might be a nav beacon I could have scanned instead, but oh well. Gas giant with ammonia. Is that human signal source? That probably means there's a carrier in orbit of it. There's our Earth-like. Worth a bunch of money. If it was a first discovery, I mean, it still is worth money. I could turn that in and get some cash for it, but not a lot. We're in. This is a discovered area of space. We're in the Colonia bubble. I haven't seen anything with rings yet, so maybe we're not going to find tritium here, unless I wasn't paying attention. No, there's nothing here with rings. I mean, this is... No, that's rocky. Okay, I will spare you me hunting around Colonia for tritium. I'm just going to look up where some is, because we're in explored space, so... I'm not going to go hunting for it and waste everyone's time. Just switching over, I'm Googling really quick. I am in... Oh, okay, so I've been staring at this system map the whole time, telling everyone there's no planet with any rings. You know what there is? Right here. Planet with rings. They're icy. There's tritium in it. You know how I know that? Because the tool that I just used to Google well, I googled, found the tool, and then used the tool to find this, which was already in the system. So, whoops. Anyway, tritium should be in these icy rings here. Tritium is always going to be in icy rings, not rocky or metal rich. So if you're on the hunt for tritium, which I almost was because I'm apparently blind, you're looking for icy rings around planets. I believe it can also be found in icy asteroid belts. I've never mined tritium there because there's no hotspots, so I always use the planetary ring. So we're looking at the B ring here for some tritium hotspots, and let's wander on over. Be there in just a moment or two if anyone needs a quick break. Now's a good time to grab it while I approach the planet. Bio. We got Bioxyl Pasta, or as his name is actually written, Bioxyl Patsa, threatening me. He's a good guy. He won't mess up our stream here. Coming up on that 7 seconds, there it is. We'll hit 3/4 throttle. And now we're looking for the surface scanner in the HUD to switch from out of range to too fast. And see that green thing in the radar there? I'm sure that's Bioxyl Pasta. The orange one is not. That could be an NPC. When I have tritium on board, it's likely I'm going to get interdicted. But that's okay. Alright. Too fast. There we go. We can slow down. Looks like the icy ring's the one on the outside, but we'll scan both just to demonstrate that. So there's the first ring, and there's the second one. Now, I believe this game actually letters them from the inside out, so I think that's A and then that's B. But I was reading about Saturn, like the actual Saturn, and I think Saturn is actually lettered on the like A, B, C, etc., which is interesting. I wonder why it's backwards. So there's all the hotspots, and I know one of them is tritium. So let's see what we got. Now, if you see a bunch of tritium bunched up together, like see how void opal like this are right next to each other, that can be what's called hotspot overlap, and that just means two hotspots that intersect one another, and may have higher drop rates for whatever you're looking for. But we're not looking for void opals, we're looking for tritium. There's a tritium hotspot, there's another, there's a third. Just checking to see if there's any bunched up where there might be overlapping. Doesn't look like it. So we'll pick that one, which is the closest. Sure. It looks small, but once we get inside it, it's actually going to be pretty big. And do with that what you will in the comments. And we'll slow down on it. You can't drop on this like it's a normal station. You just fly right into it. You do want to slow down a little bit into the blue zone, otherwise you might bend your hull with an emergency stop as opposed to just a regular drop. Now, because we're in populated space, what's probably going to happen is a pair of NPCs is going to show up on my radar here and scan me. There's one. I just saw him. And he's going to scan me, and because I haven't done any mining yet, I've only got limpets, he's going to leave me alone. So I'm not going to do anything until he actually either comes in and scans me or goes off and finds something else to do. There's one. There's two. There's a couple. Look, oh, we got a whole wing here, it looks like. Yeah, we got a crate.
Scan detected.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to sit here and let the scan happen because I have nothing, so they're going to leave me alone. And once they do decide that I'm not worth coming after, they will. There we go. Nothing worth my while. They'll fly off and do their own thing, and then I'll be left to mine unmolested for the rest of the trip. So I'm just going to fly away from them. We'll go ahead and deploy our hard points now. All of the mining tools use analysis mode, which we discussed on Sunday, how that works. So you don't have to go into combat mode to fire your mining lasers. You will need to deploy your cargo scoop, which is going to slow you down. And we'll switch over to the fire group that had the prospector limpets, which was this one. Now, if you're going super fast like this, and you fire a prospector limpet, your ship is probably going to crash into it immediately and kill it, which is a waste of a limpet. So we're going to slow down a little bit here. That should do. And you can't target anything, but the limpet just shoots dead ahead into the center of whatever you're pointed at. So that'll hit that asteroid. And once it's out of the ship, I'll just target it. And we'll see once that hits whether this asteroid has any tritium in it. Oh, it does. First asteroid has a pretty high amount of it, actually. This asteroid has 29.07% tritium, which is a very good yield. And you can see minerals remaining 100%. As I scrape this asteroid with the lasers, that'll go down until it hits 0. And the parts will, or the fragments will pop off the asteroid and get collected and head into my ship. Dan0065 has asked, can you move to a different hotspot without being scanned again? No. If I were to leave this hotspot and come back, or leave this hotspot and go to a different one through Super Cruise, once I arrived, the NPCs would once again drop in on me. So once you start mining, you're going to want to stay in the hotspot that you're in, because that way you won't get additional NPCs harassing you. So here we are. We found ourselves a good asteroid. I'm going to switch to the fire group that's got the mining lasers. You can see I'm out of range there on the right. I also don't have any pips and weapons. So even though it's in analysis mode right now, we do need to throw some power at the weapons capacitor in order to actually do any mining, and we're going to have to get a little closer as well. Now I'm going to deploy my collector limpets in a second here by just holding the trigger for the second half of the fire group. And they're all going to just, you hold it down and they'll all come out, and the remaining ones will just kind of pop, pop, pop out there. There they are. Now notice that I've got the prospector limpet targeted. One thing you don't want to do is target individual mining fragments. You can, but you shouldn't. And the reason is, if you do that, the collector limpets will go and pick up that particular fragment and then die. Whereas here, they will pick up anything that I happen to knock off the asteroid and continue on and get the next one. So if you've got something that can be picked up and that's targeted, you'll only get that, and your limpet will die immediately, and that's a waste of a limpet. So here we go. I'm just going to start firing. There we go. We can see the weapons capacitor is draining slowly, but that should be enough to finish off this asteroid. So this is actually a pretty decent build here. And I'm just gonna, looks like I might run out of weapons power before I finish off the asteroid, which is fine, because when that happens, what I'm gonna do is show you the filter that I talked about, so you don't collect random crap. So there's a whole bunch of stuff out of this asteroid right now, and it does only have tritium in it, so can't really show you a good example of the filter, but you notice here where it says add tritium to ignore list. If I did that, the collector limpets would not pick up the tritium. So if you've got useless stuff, like hydrogen peroxide, silver, whatever, you can add those to the ignore list from the context menu here, and then your limpets won't pick them up and waste space in your cargo hold and refinery with stuff that's not of any use. So I've actually got most everything on my ignore list so that the limpets only pick up tritium.
Programming limpet drone.
I would say if I had a pair of Class 2 lasers instead of these this trio of Class 1s, this asteroid would just kind of go and be done with. And you can see I've exhausted the weapons capacitor and I'm losing my third laser. The other two will keep going because the capacitor can charge itself to keep those going. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna hold down on it. And you can see the minerals remaining is decreasing at a bit of a slower rate when I lose that third laser. That's okay, because this asteroid's nearly done. Dave Sundays asked, are the collector limpets automatic? Yes, they are. So I just deployed them, and it looks like 2 of them have died, so I'm going to deploy 2 more. And they go out and get the tritium automatically, and they follow your ship, and they grab the materials without you having to do anything. They are automatic, but they are profoundly stupid. I mentioned that 2 of them died just there, and they likely crashed into the asteroid instead, or while on the way to get a fragment. So just keep on that. You will hear the COVAS say collector limpet failed. You will also see on my HUD on the left side there, see how the bar beneath where it says collector is kind of grayed out. That's because they're all alive. If one of them had died, that would fill up with blue, showing me that I have the ability to deploy an additional limpet. So I have completely mined this particular asteroid. You can see my limpets on the radar going out to collect the remaining bits of tritium. While they're doing that, I'm going to switch fire groups back to something with the prospector limpet, and we'll see what's in the next one. And here's, like I said, you're going to hear prospector limpet failed. So that's the one that I already shot.
Prospector limpet failed.
And you can see the new one is still successful. So we'll target that, and we'll see what it finds. And I've got, looks like 1 more, maybe 2 more limpets on the way back to me on the radar there. So we'll go ahead and follow our limpet, our prospector limpet. See, no valid collection targets on the top right means they've picked up everything they can pick up. Okay, so this asteroid has tritium. It's got 3.76% yield. That's not really enough to make it worth your while. There's not enough in here. I really don't stop for asteroids unless they've got at least 10%. So I'm just going to pass on by. And now that we have pips over and weapons and the cargo scoop out, we're going slow enough that we can fire these prospector limpets without having to slow down an additional. I've got the throttle maxed out here. See what's in this one. Tritium 6.7, not worth it. And as we're flying, it's possible to wind up doubling back on yourself by accident. The easy way to avoid that, rather, notice how my compass shows the hotspot still targeted directly behind me. I just leave it targeted the whole time in my nav and fly away from it. So if I'm always flying away from the center of the hotspot, I'm never going to double back on myself. Just throw some prospectors out until we find something with, there we go, that's a good one. So we'll switch back over to our lasers group, and the collector limpets from before are still alive, still with us, and they'll start picking up that tritium. I'm actually kind of glad now that I didn't have that extra cargo bay in, because we would have been here for a while, and we would have lost the pedagogical value of the whole thing. Who stole my asp? Hello, Derek. Derek join. Derek DeJohns is with us in the chat, and he's a member of IPX as well, and I believe he's joining us for the expedition too. Welcome, Derek. Hello. Say hello to everyone on the stream, Derek. So as we continue mining here, we can see that the number of available limpets is down to 44. Every limpet, of course, will reduce that by 1 as they die, and eventually the cargo bay will fill up with tritium instead of limpets. Right now we've still got more limpets than tritium, and as we continue mining, that of course will change. And I talked about the refinery earlier. Now you can see the tritium I'm collecting making that progress bar kind of slide up towards 100%. If this asteroid had things other than, okay, you saw how that took the second slot there because the first one was full, but immediately it dumped into the cargo bay. If there was stuff other than tritium here that I was collecting, they would show up on the other lines. Jesse Evans, welcome aboard. I believe you're the one from the other day, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome to the stream. The Wild Wild West is all of our carriers have arrived in Colonia, and we are staging here for a week. We're going to be doing a departure on Saturday, headed towards the World of Death, which is a landable body that orbits inside the exclusion zone of a white dwarf and passes through its jet cone. That'll be our first waypoint on the expedition. Jesse, if you're looking to join us on the expedition, you're more than welcome. Still plenty of time to get here to Colonia. If you navigate yourself, you're welcome to do that. We also have been getting people rides on other non-expedition carriers, and coordinating that in the Discord. So even though our official carriers are already here, if you'd like to come participate, stop by our Discord, and we can see if we can get you on one of the Fleet Carrier Owners Club carriers that happens to be heading this way at the same time. Our Discord link can be found on EDSM, and I realize I didn't spell that out on the stream the other day, so if anyone didn't hear me clearly and Googled the wrong thing, that's hilarious, and I don't apologize at all. EDSM, Echo Delta Sierra Mike, Elite Dangerous Star Map is what that stands for, has our expedition listed in the Expeditions tab as the first one. Jesse says, don't the carriers take about 4 to 5 days to arrive? One of them does, but if people actually sit down and just run for it, the total travel time can be as low as 16 hours. And I know there are 2 carriers running this week that are going to do just that. They're going to run for 16 hours straight from the Bumble to Colonia. So if you hopped on board it today, you'd be here tomorrow. Our first carrier at the SC Silver's Landing did that, and our second carrier took a more leisurely route and arrived over the course of a couple days. I got another asteroid here with 23% tritium, so we're going to stop and mine that as well. All of my limpets look like they're still alive. A little hard to see the HUD there. Yep, they're still alive. Some of them may die on this asteroid because it's rotating towards us, and as I mentioned, the limpets are profoundly stupid and tend to smash themselves upon the asteroid. And there's nothing you can do about that. So I'm going to do this a couple more times just to think. Oh, here's a good example where I can show what's on the ignore list. So I'll switch back over to the contacts panel. I'll see all these different bits in the fragments. You can see I've got methanol monohydrate on my ignore list, and that means that I won't pick it up. Even though they're coming out in the fragments along with the tritium, the collector limpets are going to grab the fragment, and the refinery is going to process the tritium and then jettison the methanol monohydrate crystals into space. You can see I'm also getting carbon and phosphorus here. If you look in the bottom left corner there, it says material content high. That means there's a substantial amount of engineering materials like phosphorus and carbon in the asteroid. That's often confused with the yield of the asteroid itself. If you see material content low, that doesn't mean that the asteroid is going to have a low yield. That means that there is a low proportion of engineering materials within the asteroid itself. That's a common source of confusion, so I just wanted to point that out there. Jesse's headed to a nebula this weekend. That's fine. Also, if you want to catch up with the expedition after we set off, that you can certainly do that. Or we'll be streaming this. I will be streaming this every Saturday, which is when the PlayStation crew is going to have their meetups. So we'll do waypoint streams for each one, and you're more than welcome to just join in Twitch as well.
Collector limit expired.
50%, not bad. Okay, so you can see now that the bars on my on my collector limpets on the HUD, see how the bottom one is full blue and the top one is half blue? That means 3 of my 4 limpets have died. The top one, I've got 1 more I can shoot out, and the bottom one has 2 more, so I'm just going to shoot those out by holding down the trigger. And again, the first one takes a second to program, but the other 2 should pop right out pretty quickly. Resume mining. Again, you want to keep the prospector limpet targeted rather than the actual fragments, so that the limpets collect everything rather than your specific target. So I'm going to do a couple more of these. This is the general gist of how to mine for tritium. I'm going to run my collector limpets down to 32. Jesse has asked, am I using voice attack? Nope, I'm not using voice attack. This is the stream is run off a PS4. I think you can use voice attack with PS4. I don't have it. There's apparently an outmatched NPC in the system, which is a little bit alarming. If he comes after me, I'm going to make a run for it because this ship is not kitted out for combat. One final note, if you do have a multi-crew seat available and you have someone in multi-crew, they can fire the mining lasers for you, assuming you've got the turreted version, and they get a extra pip to throw towards weapons there, so I get a little bit of a boost to my weapons capacitor, and I might not be running out of that third laser beam. If you saw in the top right just a second ago, phosphorus capacity, or phosphorus storage full, that just means that I've got the maximum amount of phosphorus material that my account can carry. That's per account. So the collector limits will automatically stop collecting that. Jesse uses a Type 9 for mining. Yep, those are very common mining vessels. Type 9s are real good at. They have huge cargo capacities. This Aspex is the IPX SPX. Was inexpensive. The reason I picked this is, of course, because I want to make sure the mining is accessible to people who have not done it before and may not have a lot of money. During the streams for Thirsty Thursdays in mining, I have both a Type 7 and an Imperial Cutter that are kitted out for mining, and so if you join us for the Thirsty Thursday stream, you'll get to see an Imperial Cutter doing mining, and that is quite a ship. That one is equipped also for combat. You can mine with 12 limpets out and hold 512 tons of cargo while fending off elite Anacondas and Type 10s. So I'm definitely going to be bringing that ship out on one of these Thirsty Thursdays.
Prospector limpet engaged.
Not enough tritium to stop at there. Oh, I gotta turn around. See, now I'm pointed back at the tritium hotspot, which means I could wind up accidentally doubling back. So I'm going to just swing around here, get that hotspot back in the rear of the compass, and avoid that asteroid. We'll shoot a limpet off a prospector at this one. We'll do just a couple more asteroids here, and then I'll head back to the Omega Concern and quickly demonstrate the difference between selling it to the carrier and donating it to the carrier.
Prospector limpet engaged.
2% tritium there. You can see that my collector limpets are expiring, and that just means that they've run out of life. They only live for a certain amount of time. Collector limpets, the higher grade they are, the longer they last. So A-rated limpets last longer than B-rated ones. And Jesse's asked, is this in Horizon? Yep, this is in Horizon. Elite, or Odyssey's not out for PS4 yet, so all of my streams will be in Horizons.
Programming limpet drone. Prospector limpet failed.
Looking for 10% or higher, 10% or higher. Dave Sunday said, this looks to be perfect for teaming up and drinking beer. That is one of the reasons we called it Thirsty Thursdays, because the carriers are just as thirsty as the people who are filling them.
Prospector limpet failed.
And yeah, this is definitely a fun thing to do. You get people in a wing, you can fill up that wing with 4 people. And start a party and really get that going. You get 8, 10, 12 ships in the instance before it starts to get a little janky. And it's fun. Everyone's flying all over the place. The radar has dozens upon dozens of limpets on it flying everywhere. And it's a real blast. And that pun was 100% intended. Again, I tend to admire my own cleverness. That's just the kind of person I am. So yeah, the Thirsty Thursday stream will take place at what did I say? I think I said it for 2200 UTC on Thursday, which works out to 6 p.m. Eastern on the States, in the States. So anyone is welcome to join us for the stream, or if you are in the Colonia region, feel free to join us for the mining. Jesse used to use 2 Anacondas and 2 Type 9s. Yep, Anacondas also make great miners. During the scouting for this expedition, I wound up taking all of the mining equipment off of my Type 7 and sticking it on the Anaconda just to see if it was good as a miner, and I was pleased with it. I was quite pleased with it. Let's see how much tritium we've got. Alright, what I'm going to do is run to 32 tritium. So when I get the tritium up to 32 tons, we'll head back to the carrier works.
Asteroid completed. Programming limpet drone.
And notice I'm shooting off the Prospector limpet while the collectors are still off doing their business. Once the asteroid's exhausted of materials, there's no need to keep the Prospector limpet on any longer. So you can let the collector limpets go do their job while the Prospector finds a new asteroid, and kind of maximize your efficiency that way. 11%, okay. We'll head on over to that one.
Asteroid scan complete.
Yep. Bio has mentioned you can have as many as you want in the instance, and each wing mines 4. You also get a wing mining bonus. So if I had 3 other people with me in a wing and we were all mining this asteroid, we'd get 4 times as much tritium from the asteroid, because each person gets their own, basically, instance of the material. So as you can see, as I'm mining this, the minerals remaining goes down to 92% here, 89%. If someone in a wing with me were to have this targeted, this asteroid, even if they were targeting my Prospector limpet, it would still show them 100%. So I could strip this asteroid bare, mine it all the way down to 0, and then they could still go and mine it again and get their own supply of tritium off it, and then the third person could do the same, and the fourth could do the same. And that can all happen simultaneously. You don't have to wait and do it one at a time. So if you all team up on an asteroid, you get essentially 4 times as much material out of the asteroid as you would have for just a single person like me here doing this solo. So that's one of the things that is an added benefit for filling up the carriers when we're out in the blackened space on the expedition. 4 people going all at once gets 4 times as much tritium from a single asteroid and fills up the carrier 4 times quicker. One more ton of tritium will do. I'll do one more asteroid after this, and then we'll head to the carrier. There's one right there.
Program limpet drone.
Dave Sunday has asked, why haven't I used my subsurface missiles? That's a good question. Maybe I'll actually stick around a little bit longer and see if I can find an asteroid that has subsurface deposits. Eyeballing this. We have one. Look at that. That's actually a surface deposit, unfortunately. So if I had subsurface deposits here, they would show up as something targetable, and then I could fire my subsurface displacement missile at them to dislodge them. Instead, I'm going to use my abrasion blaster here, because this is a surface deposit, so we'll completely miss it there. Try again. Miss it again. 3rd time's not the charm. Come on. Okay. This clearly takes some skill, of which I have none. Let's try this one instead. That's another surface deposit. Bang. There we go. That knocked that one off. Now my limpets will go and pick it up. And the subsurface and the surface deposits, unlike the fragments, are a full ton each. So you get a higher yield from it that way. This is another surface deposit, so abrasion blaster. Now bear with me that I'm getting used to where the hard points are on this ship. There we go. Got it that time. So if these were subsurface displacement missiles, what we would do, we'd actually hold down the trigger, it'll shoot the missile into the asteroid, and then start a little mini game in the bottom left, and you hold that trigger until the depth of the missile reaches the blue zone, and then you release it, and it will pop out some tritium from the asteroid. Let's get this last, I think this was the last surface deposit, the one that eluded me the first time, because I don't know, we'll say it's not my fault. We'll say it's the asteroids. I'm gonna miss it again. Oh man, come back to me. All right, everyone on the stream can now watch how much I am not good at surface mining. I'm chasing it now. It's not gonna get away from me. Put some pips in engines. Go faster. This can actually be a little easier to do with flight assist off. That's why. There we go. I got it. I had to park on it to get it, but I got it. And now, okay, one thing at a time. We'll slow back down to 0. We'll go target my prospect in the pit again. Switch back over to the mining laser and redo the distributor. Oh, hello. This is why I put shields on. Okay. Alright. So this asteroid has tritium inside. Oh, it has hardly any tritium inside. What a waste of time. 2%. Okay. I've hit my desired 30 tons, but that was a good question from Dave on the subsurface missiles. I would like to demonstrate that, so I'm just going to go prospect asteroids until I find one that has it. Because everyone has a good idea of how to do the laser mining at this point, and what to do with the surface deposits. Let's see if I can find some subsurface. I don't think this is going to have it. Oh, 21%. That's too tempting. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. That's a lot of tritium.
Asteroid scan complete. Program limpet drone.
I promise I will not. This will be the last asteroid I laser scrape like this. I saw 21% and I couldn't help myself. I will, however, continue to fly around at least until I'm out of lipids, looking for something to use those subsurface missiles on. Dave has asked, can you blast the Prospector Limpet by mistake? Nope. The Prospector Limpet is invulnerable. It cannot be hurt. So you will not accidentally shoot it. Don't worry about that. It is an open question to me as to whether or not that's the case for Collector Limpets. Collector Limpets are not invulnerable. I do know that. If you have angered someone in the system, their point defense will start shooting at your Prospector Limpets, which can get hilarious if you're wing mining with multiple wings and you accidentally hit someone with your lasers and then become hostile to them, and then your point defense starts shooting at their limpets. That has happened before on our Thirsty Thursdays, and we could not figure out why everyone's limpets were all getting killed. That was why. So bear that in mind. The Collector Limpets are not invulnerable. Whether or not you can hit the Collectors with lasers, I don't think so. I've certainly watched enough of them fly through my lasers that I don't think the lasers hurt them, but I do know the point defense does. But the Prospector Limpet cannot be harmed. Alright, that limpet is, or that asteroid's done. Let's go see if we can find some subsurface deposits, huh?
Prospector Limpet failed.
I crashed into my own limpet there.
Program
Let's try that again.
Prospector Limpet engaged.
A lot of tritium.
Asteroid scan complete.
Here we go, subsurface deposit. There's only one, but that's okay. I will be able to demonstrate how this works. And fortunately for me, this asteroid's rotation is rather low. Is that where it is? It's when these asteroids are spinning, this gets difficult because you got to target it, you shoot the missile, there we go, it goes inside, and then you play this little mini game and let go on the blue, and it pops out some tritium, and you do this multiple times. These will last a couple times, and that's my cat. John has joined us for this mining expedition here, so we'll see what else we can get from this subsurface deposit. I missed. I was looking at my cat. Oops. And these don't last forever. These will eventually run out of stuff to give you. There we go. And the it's been scrolling by kind of fast, but the little graph, I guess, that's running by as you do this, the taller the graph is, the more of the material is at that particular spot. So we can see there's a spot there that's actually got quite a bit. Unfortunately, I've exhausted this subsurface deposit. Oh, there's more. Oh, that's deposit fragment. Never mind.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
I just heard cargo hold at maximum capacity. That means I have a perfect balance of tritium versus limpets. It's a 64 size tank, and it's full. So this is actually a good point to quit. Quit mining. The stream's going to be up for a little bit longer. Because now if I start mining from asteroids, it's going to be fighting with the cargo bay because it's full. As I mentioned, it will fill up the refinery here. You see I've got this one bit of tritium that is stuck at 100% because the cargo bay is full. Once I sell or donate the tritium, that will refine itself into another ton. You saw me over here at this symbol. If you've got stuff in the refinery you don't want, like for example if you picked up a bunch of methanol monohydrate crystals or whatever before you put them on the ignore list and they're just wasting space in your refinery, you can use this little eject button and they go whoop, out into space. I just did that on the 2% tritium because that's not really doing me any good. Yogi Bear in the comments is loving the game again, can't wait to get on another expedition. And he's a Distant Worlds veteran joining us for the Wild Wild West. Welcome, Yogi Bear. We're glad you're here, and we're excited too. This is going to be a really fun expedition. We're kind of viewing this as the last hurrah for Horizons. All of our ground sites were scouted using Horizons. And of course, we have people with Odyssey as well, but all of the ground views that we are going to be seeing along the way are best experienced in Horizons. So I'm full at this point, or as full as I need to be. So I'm going to retract the cargo scoop, switch back over to the main fire group here, reconfigure my distributor for engine performance, and then just fly away. The collector limpets are going to follow me, which is okay. They will not follow me into Super Cruise. I'm going to now head towards the Omega Concern, and I will quickly cover donating versus selling and what the difference is there. So this is the Omega Concern, should be right next door. You do have to fly away from the asteroid belt to get out of, or the asteroid ring to get out of mass lock. There we go.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Jesse has asked, am I using a HOTAS? No, I'm not using a HOTAS. For those who don't know what that stands for, it's hands-on throttle and controls, like a throttle and a flight stick doodad. There is one available for PlayStation. It's of middling quality. I know at least one of our other PlayStation commanders uses it. I think he's on his second or third one of them. But you can use that on PlayStation. Also, this expedition is not limited just to PlayStation. We do have people from Xbox and PC joining us as well. The PC guys are more likely to have HOTASes than the console folks. I am using a PlayStation DualShock 4 for these. Jesse missed the first part. I'll recap there. HOTAS stands for hands-on throttle and stick. It's like a flight stick with a flight throttle. I'm not using one, and the expedition is not PlayStation only. It's PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So we've got everyone. I just happen to be on the PlayStation. Swash can't imagine it without the HOTAS. You get used to the controller. The one main downside, and I mentioned it on the stream on Sunday, is there aren't many buttons. So custom keybinds the button space is at a premium. I have very few custom keybinds, and the ones I set up are judiciously picked to be of maximum value. So here we are at the Omega Concern, the carrier that ferried me from Lave here to Colonia over the last couple days. And we'll go thank the owner, Commander Analog Kid, for the journey by giving him some tritium. So we'll go ahead and park here. Yep, Jesse, I was just going what the acronym meant for others in the chat who might not know what a HOTAS is.
Landing gear deployed.
I'm backwards. Whoops. I don't ever do that. I promise, I'm not this terrible. Holy shit. Okay, let's just try that again. For those of you in the stream who saw that, no, you didn't. There we go. Okay. Jesse's gonna clip that. Great. Great. That's wonderful. I can't wait. Okay, so we're on the carrier here, and we'll just cover the quick difference between donating and selling. I don't actually know if I can sell it. In order to sell it to a carrier, the owner of the carrier has to set what's called a buy order. in which case, if he does, it'll show up here in the commodities market, which looks just like station as something we can sell. So he does have a buy order up. I could sell the tritium here and make a little bit of money for it. But since I'm nice and this carrier operator ferried me all the way in from Colonia, I'm going to go ahead and donate it instead so he doesn't have to pay me. So you can see at the top of the screen there where it says fuel 19%. That means there's his tritium tank is almost empty. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the depot here and donate all 40 tons that I mined. And now he's up to 23%. And see how that went to 0 and then back to 1? That's because of that tritium I had hanging out in my refinery. Once the cargo bay was again available for use, the last bit that was clogging up the refinery there was refined and dropped in the cargo bay. So I have 1 more ton of tritium I can give him. There we go. So now he's up to 23%. Not a lot, but that pretty much covered the basics for laser mining for tritium. Other things you can laser mine if you're looking for money while we're here in Colonia include low temperature diamonds and paynite. There is a miner's tool that you can use if you just Google Elite Dangerous Miner's Tool. You'll find it. You can give it the system that you're in and tell it what you're looking to mine and sell, and it will tell you where to go mine it and where to go sell it for the maximum profit. But yeah, that is how to do laser mining for tritium. That is how to do surface mining with the abrasion blaster, subsurface mining with the subsurface displacement missile. Jesse's asking, is a link allowed? Yeah, sure. You can throw the link in there. Go for it. That covered everything that you need to have for a useful mining vessel. I did spend actual arcs on the paint job for this, so we'll go outside and appreciate it. I'm going to keep the vessel. I don't know if I'll keep it as a mining vessel or not. There's my brilliant name, the IPX SPX. But I do... Ooh, this green paint job looks nice on this thing. I'm going to keep it since that was actual arcs that cost. We'll turn that off, get that light out of the way, see if we can get a good shot of that. The more I see that name, the more I like it. There we go, get that Distant Worlds 2 decal in there. So that's all the topics I really wanted to cover for mining today. We may do a more advanced mining session in a future stream for core mining. That's a little bit of a different ballgame. We're not going to cover that here. I did equip this with the necessary tools, but we just didn't have time for that today. I do want to mention after this stream at the top of the hour, I'm going to host Commander Purple Rider's channel, where he does some landings on an 11G planet out here in the region. It's about 2,000 light years from Colonia. I know as we were doing this stream here today, he was on the way to it. So I'm going to host his stream here if you'd like to see him landing on an 11G planet. I may scoot off to join him, or I might just watch him on stream. But that's Commander Purple Rider. I'll host that here on my channel, and if you'd like to head on over to his channel, you can find him on Twitch, Purple_Rider. Purple_Rider. He's going to be doing the 11G landing at the top of the hour, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, 2200 in-game. And we'll move over to him and view that stream. This stream is going to return to that time slot next week. So 6 p.m. is when these Tutorial Tuesdays will normally be on the East Coast, 2200 in-game time. It'll be 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Tutorial Tuesdays will cover these. We'll cover basics, intermediate, and advanced topics. Of course, Thursdays as well, same time for Thirsty Thursdays, where we'll actually be doing wing mining, and I'll have a more purpose-built. Well, this is purpose-built, but I'll have a more engineered ship out there so you can see what you can get for mining when you go beyond what this kind of basic setup has for you. So that's it, anyone. I'll stick around for a couple minutes. If there's any questions or anything like that, I'm going to ship my Diamondback over here as I left it at Jacques Station. Tootin' Tuesdays. I like it. I'm glad to answer your questions, Dave. If there's anything I missed, let me know, and I can cover it real quick, or I can just summarize in Discord. And again, this is part of the Wild Wild West expedition. Anyone on stream who joined midway through, we're staging in Colonia right now, setting off for the farthest west carrier in the galaxy, the DSSA Hope Dempsey, before swinging back down to V1357 Cygni for a total exploration distance of 87,000 light years and change. The link to our Discord can be found on EDSM. So if you head on over to EDSM and load up the Wild Wild West expedition, you can register for it there. Join us in the Discord. This stream will show the PlayStation meetups every Saturday. So you'll see us at each waypoint, the first of which is the World of Death, as I mentioned. That's a planet that exists outside the exclusion zone of a white dwarf for about 15 minutes before returning inside the exclusion zone within the jet stream for quite a view. If you get on the planet and get out in your SRV while it's still landable, you can ride the planet the whole way through and get mere kilometers away from the white dwarf as it slingshots around the planet. It's quite a view. It's definitely worth it. Even if you're not joining the expedition and you watch no other streams of mine, watch that one. It's a hell of a view. Jesse has suggested adding that in a panel box below. I may be able to eventually. Right now I'm streaming this directly off the PlayStation, which doesn't give me that option. If I at some point hook this up and get it through a capture card, I may be able to do that. Unfortunately, at this time I don't have that setup available. So right now, if you want to see that, just head on over to EDSM, click the link to get in our Discord, and our pings in Discord will notify you when those streams are going live. So, looks like Purple Rider is getting ready to stream right now. His stream has gone live on his channel, Purple_Rider. If you want to head directly to his channel to see that landing on an 11G planet, feel completely free. I'm going to switch my channel over to host that in just a moment here, so you can see it here if you'd like as well. Jesse Evans is telling me that the panel on Twitch can be done through Twitch on the About page. Huh, that's cool. I did not know that. Thank you, Jesse. I will look into that. I do appreciate the tips. I am relatively new at this, so that's much appreciated. Swash984 has asked, is abrasion core mining worth it anymore? Got his first cutter yesterday, but that was just through laser mining. Honestly, no, in my opinion, it's not worth it. Abrasion and subsurface mining. Abrasion and subsurface mining is not worth it, in my opinion. It's a fun distraction, but in terms of tons per minute, tons per hour, tonnage per hour, it's on the lower side. Or maybe it's lower for me because you all saw me flying around that asteroid. That's not my best talent that I have. If you're particularly good at it, maybe you can get the yield up in terms of tonnage per hour. But abrasion and subsurface mining are not worth it as doing just that solo. Now, if you happen to run into surface deposits or subsurface deposits while you're laser mining, grab them. You might as well because they're there, right? But don't eschew other asteroids that have high yields looking for subsurface deposits. Core mining is another matter entirely. If you're looking for stuff like void opals, that can still be worth it. I think there's still good pricing for void opals out there. So core mining with the seismic charge launcher, that can still be worth it. We didn't do that today. We'll do that in a future video, but that can definitely still be worth it. All right, Jesse, thank you for that. I may drop you a message so I can maximize the value that the viewers are getting from this stream. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, that covered everything from my laser mining tutorial here today. Again, this Tutorial Tuesday stream is regularly scheduled for Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 2200 in-game. It'll be returning to that schedule next week, but today we scooted it up a little bit so that Purple Rider could do the demo of the 11G landing, which he's live now over on his channel, Purple_Rider. Feel free to head that way. I'm going to set my channel up for hosting that, and if anyone's still here, at that point I may rate it. But I have completed everything I needed to do here. I'm going to ship my Diamondback over and then go watch an 11G landing, which should be fun. So we'll just bring the Diamondback over to home base here. Transfer. Confirm. All right, everyone, that does it. Thank you for joining us today for Tutorial Tuesdays for laser mining. We've covered all the topics that we've had. No more questions that I can see out there in the chat. But definitely, if you're interested in the expedition, still time to drop by. Head on over to edsm.net, Echo Delta Sierra Mike.net, edsm.net. Click on the Wild Wild West. Scroll to the bottom of the description there to see our Discord link. Join the Discord. Register on EDSM. Get yourself over to Colonia. We're headed out this weekend, departing on the 28th of August. Headed over to the first waypoint from there. So you have plenty of time to get to Colonia. If you would like to get a carrier ride to Colonia, join us in the Discord. We might be able to coordinate that for you. Just ping me. I have the same username in Discord, and I'll try to help you in whatever way I can. Until next time, I will see everyone on Thirsty Thursday for some wing mining. And until then, enjoy Purple Rider stream of the landing on the 11G planet. 070809 commanders, see you Starside.